What's up guys, Sean here. I want to talk to you guys today about a really sweet budget knife. It's been out for a while. It's a Spyderco Tenacious. And the blade steel on this one is HCR 13 MOV. Very nice full flat grind on here. A decent weight, somewhere under about 4 ounces. Blades somewhere under about 3.5. But very nice. Skeletonized liners in there. You could see that. It's got a flow-through construction with the Michael Walker liner lock. And you could see the lockup on there. That's great, about 50%. Little bit, if I really force it, tiny bit of side to side, but solid. Very sweet knife. Comes with the kind of the old school, looks like pocket clip, fully reversible. You can put it 4 positions on the knife. Really cool. So I wanted to talk about this knife because I'm kind of trying to revisit HCR 13 MOV. When I first got into knives, this is kind of or when anybody really first gets into knives, this is really what you have to work with is HCR 13 MOV. You don't really want to spend too much money getting into knives, and you don't really know enough about them to really justify spending maybe $100 on a knife. And so a lot of the budget knives out there have this HCR 13 MOV, and I feel like I kind of probably even gave it a bad rap. It's never been my favorite steel, but again, when I first really got into knives, I wasn't able to sharpen as good as I can now. So one of the great things about the Tenacious is just the action. It's very, very smooth. Of course, it can be smoother. I believe I picked this knife up for about $38. A little bit creaky. And so I'm basically going to install this knife today. So I'll go ahead and see how much the action improves. This is the Benchmade Blue Lube. I got some duct tape on here because I actually pierced this bad boy with a knife accidentally. And so it's a little bit leaky. We'll go ahead and just put a drop in there. Work that in there. See how much that smooths this knife up. You can even hear it. Just keep moving it until that goes away. Probably put a little bit more in there, huh? It's real creaky. Put this cap on here. Oh, excellent. Much better. It's pretty cool. That grind goes all the way down. And then it's got this sweet little stop right here so it doesn't close on your finger when you're trying to close it. Especially now that it's all lubricated. Because that seems to really, it's going to drop now. Nice. Alright, let's check the initial sharpness on this guy. I got a piece of paper right here, just regular white printer paper. Huh, you know, that actually doesn't come very sharp. Let's see if we can get a close-up of the edge. So, looks like we definitely have some apex rounding, and a way you could tell is it doesn't bite as soon as I place it in the paper. So it definitely could be sharper. It's definitely not as sharp as, say, my Delica right here. But again, I did grind that edge on here. Alright, so let's move that out of the way. Go ahead and touch it up with this Work Sharp field sharpener. Very sweet device. Let's go ahead and start with the white ceramic. Oh, looks like I'm having a hard time reaching all the way back on that edge there. Feel if it has any more bite. Let's go ahead and give that a try. A little bit better. Now the leather strop. Get all the way in there. I really like the design of this blade right here. It looks really cool. I like how the edge goes all the way back. And you know, the blade shape itself isn't as crazy as like a Delica or some of the other ones. Let's try this again here. Excellent. Much better. So yeah, from the factory, the edge could definitely use a touch-up. In fact, it still has that micro bevel on there, which I'm totally going to sharpen away, and that'll make it much, much sharper. Let's see, the G10, excuse me, the G10 actually isn't as grippy as, say, like on a Paramilitary 2 or a Manix. It's a little bit less grippy, but I find it to be a lot more grippy than the kind of fake G10 that a lot of the Kershaws and stuff use. Overall, sweet knife. You know, one thing I do like about Spyderco is that it comes with all this sweet literature about the knife, and they go into some details here about the Tenacious. And so whenever I get a new Spyderco, I always look forward to reading about the Tenacious and what went into it and what they were thinking when they designed it, so on and so forth. But let's compare it to some other Spydercos here. Here we have a Spyderco Endura. We have a Spyderco Delica. And then one of my favorites, Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And so we can kind of see here a few size comparisons. The handle is much shorter than on the Paramilitary 2. You also don't get this 50-50 choil. And like I said, this G10 is way more aggressive than this guy right here. But when it comes to closing, I mean, this guy is just silky smooth. I mean, you do get what you pay for. This is a much more expensive knife, but in the end, it's still a knife. They all cut. And you know what? I do kind of like the liner lock a little bit better than the lock back. Lock backs aren't as smooth. This one's very well broken in though. But when it comes to the action on this Tenacious right here, just that liner lock is great. I'm going to have to get in there and really clean it out. It's a little bit gritty, even though I lubricated it up. You could probably still use some cleaning. I mean, this is a budget knife coming in at about 38 bucks on Blade HQ. But what a great knife. I'm gonna beat on this guy pretty hard. I've been really wanting kind of a nice beater knife. Not to say I haven't been beating on my knives. I mean, you can see here my knives get a lot of use. But in my experience with the HCR 13 MOV is it sharpens good. Sharpen's decent. The burr removing can be a little bit obnoxious at times, but as your sharpening skill improves, definitely that becomes less of an issue. One of the problems I found with it is that, it's not super stainless. It doesn't have the super amount of corrosion resistance, and it seems to get a lot of blunting and sometimes chipping during hard use, but it sharpens so easy it's fine. In my honest opinion, VG10 is a much better steel when it comes to edge holding and sharpening, but it's much more expensive. I mean, you're saving about half the cost of an Endura or Delica when you buy a Tenacious, and you do get that awesome liner lock action that just makes it really smooth and convenient to put away. And I almost like putting this guy away more than on the compression lock, which, I mean, I gotta press here to do that, or like this, or just down just like the Delica and Endura. But all in all, very sweet knife. Probably one of the most competitive options when it comes to getting a Tenacious is probably one of these guys right here. This is a Kershaw Link, and I believe I picked this guy up for just about the same price. I think you can get him for like $35. But way cool. You don't get the 4-position pocket clip. You just get like a 2-position. Great clip. It does come with a Parkerized coating on there, so it's very durable. It's not all scratched off. And then this one comes with 420 HC, which, in my honest opinion, I think I like a little bit better than the HCR. But again, I'm revisiting HCR 13 MOV, and so next time you see this knife, it'll be sharpened up, ready to go. But yeah, great. I also prefer manual over this assisted action here. I mean, it does fire really fast and hard. The blade stock on this guy is super thin. I think it's much thinner. Yeah, a little bit thinner than this guy. This guy has a nice distal taper on it. But yeah, what a great knife. The Tenacious. So I'm going to use this guy really, really hard, and we'll see how well it holds up. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by. Take care.